Women today who say they don't need a man.
I mean, because if they want to go 50-50 on things, I just don't need them.
Because there's a lot of bum-ass men out in the world who don't do enough, so us women can supply for ourselves now.
Women are better than men. What do men bring to the world? Literally nothing. Women, the vibes, just everything. Everything is brought to by women.
Completely disagree.
It kind of amazes me that women aren't seeing what's really going on here yet. So women have gotten to the point where we no longer need men. We don't need them. We can succeed on our own financially. We can satisfy our own emotional needs without men. We can do whatever it is that we dream of in life without men. We can have a baby without a man. We need to use their artificial insemination, but we don't need to have one in our lives. And now we're hearing how lonely men are and how sad they are and how that's why there's all of these. Yeah, I've actually heard this.
Good morning. How is everybody? Y'all, wait a minute. Let me tell you. I just found out we don't need men. We don't need a man to get stuff done around the yard, ladies. This whole time, people thought we need a man to do this. We don't. You want to see why you don't need a man?
Barakathu Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim L'Chakodash, double honors of apostles, bishops, elders of great millstone, and shalom to brothers and highways and byways doing the work sincerely and faithfully and continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord willing, we are found in that number to be delivered. All right, so as you see on these couple of these clips here, you know, these women are steadfast in talking about they don't need a man. Now, we understand what time we're living in, and we understand the upcoming events that are slated for Babylon the Great. All right, but the majority of you women have no idea. And I'm going to say it this way, right? You women, you're basing your ideology off of what you do financially here in America. All right? You all are proud, you're working, you know, you have the ability, you know, to maintain your bills and all this, you know, other superficial crap. And all in essence, it's you're basing you not needing a man off the financial structure of America. All right? But you best believe the minute that this financial system collapses, there's going to be no hope for you. All right? But you simple-minded individuals, you think that this system is going to continue forever and that you're going to be able to be an independent woman who doesn't need a man to do anything. All right? So again, Isaiah 4:1 has been on the forefront lately, right? So let me read it. It says, "And in that day 7 women will take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." All right? And this is soon to happen. It's soon to happen. And if you know, or if you notice, there are a lot of women now, you know, even coming up talking about they need a man. They want a man. All right? Because it's the spirit that's within them that is being stirred up right now. They're starting to feel and understand the effects of what's happening here in America. You single women who are, you know, who are living day to day, you know, the things that you're now seeing and the things that now you're experiencing is driving you to a point where now you know and understand that a man is a necessity in your life. Okay? And I'm talking to and most of the women who feel this way are the women who may have lost their jobs, who may not be, you know, financially situated enough to sustain or maintain their way of living, especially now that the prices of everything is going through the roof. And then you have, on the flip side to that, then you have these women who make a little more money, who are a little more established, who are a little more grounded. They're the ones screaming and hollering, we don't need a man. But at the end of the day, you all are going to need a man. And it's going to be at our discretion who comes through them doors. Right? So let's get on a couple more scriptures here. This is 2 Ezra 6 and 22. And it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. All right? And that's when you women are going to find out. That's when you're going to know that those little, shekels that you've been making, a little bit of bank accounts that you got stored up, then you're going to realize that, oh shit, I'm assed out. I don't have my money anymore. Because when you women lose your financial status, it's over. That's a wrap. And it says, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. These movies, go back and watch some of these movies, man. Go back and watch these movies. They're giving you a pretty precise picture of how things are going to turn out around here. Shit, it's even going to be hard for a man, to navigate when these times get tough and rough, man. Men are going to have a hard time navigating, let alone a woman who's up there, trying to make herself look pretty and pamper herself, nails and all this other fancy shit. Grown men are going to be struggling. So you best believe your asses are going to be, matter of fact, you're going to be a hot commodity. Women, you're going to be a hot commodity. Because it's going to be a lawless society. All right? And what's a lawless society bring? Chaos. It brings a lot of chaos. Okay? But these are the things that the men of the Lord look forward to. We understand that the way Babylon the Great is running right now, it's under the power of our enemy, Esau Edom. So therefore, we agree with the adversary. We follow his information. We follow his laws. We follow the things that he puts in place. As the scripture says, be wise as a serpent, right? But his time is coming to an end. But before that end comes, there's going to be some civil unrest. And you can already see it. You can see what the foundation that they're laying for this upcoming racial war, this civil unrest. There's a lot of moving parts right now. And those who, choose to be ignorant, you're going to miss, you're going to miss the ability to see these things starting to unfold. As long as you can go out, party, drink, go to the club, do it all again on, go back to work on Monday, go through the whole week, get to Friday, go to the barbershop. You all gonna start to suffer, man. You're gonna start to suffer and feel the effects of this thing. Okay? Now, getting back to, these women talking about they're independent and they don't need a man. And again, it's all based off of their financial status here in America. Without that financial status, you're going to be just like the other ones, making videos, talking about how hard it is, you can't take it, You know, you need a man in your life. You just wish somebody would come along. You know, you just need somebody to help you. These are the things that you're all going to be yearning for. Right? But again, it's all based off of financial system. This is Ecclesiastes 12:4. It says, "And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low." All right? So understand, when this thing starts to fully come to pass, you can kiss your greenbacks goodbye, kiss your bank account goodbye, kiss all the fancy shit that you know and love, kiss that shit goodbye. All right? And they're slowly but surely shutting it down. They're going to shut America down just like they did before, and they're not afraid to do it. But this time, it's going to come with dire consequences. All right? So when that grinding starts to cease, meaning the ability to work, the ability to earn, the ability to go out and just do whatever you please because you're living in a free world, if as they say. Continuing on. And it says, "And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." So everything is starting to come to an end. The world, I'll say the country as you know it, is now turning the tides. You know, I was watching the news this morning. It said Jimmy Kimmel, they canceled his show. All right? Now keep in mind, everybody wants to talk about their constitutional rights. Well, isn't that First Amendment? The ability for free speech? And here you are, you got here they have people losing their jobs, school teachers, you know, comedians, you know, people who are working in certain fields, losing their job. Why? Because they're voicing their opinion on what they think about this whole, you know, assassination thing and this attempted murder thing on the train. You people are foolish, man. You people are foolish. All right? Don't think you got some rights here. They did away with that shit with that Patriot Act a few years ago, and they're starting to show you. They're starting to exercise their power right now. And it's the same crafty counsel. It's all the same crafty counsel that was back during the time of Psalms 83rd chapter. All right? They're coming full circle again. And the ultimate goal, technically, is to wipe out the children of Israel. That's the ultimate goal. All right? But the Lord is going to make this place a great spectacle. All eyes are going to be on America. All right? From its infrastructure to its military weakness. All right? All eyes are going to be on this place. And if you're keeping up, you know, with what these devils have going on as far as their agendas, you know, you got agenda, you know, 2030, you know, you got, you know, these, you know, sustainable developments that they're trying to establish. You know, these are all things that they have been putting together for years. All right. And now the Lord is making it so the appointed time is at hand. How do you women expect to survive, man? How do you expect to survive? A lot of you are going to fall to the wayside. All right? A lot of you. And the worst thing is, you're not going to have any protection. All right? Because the ultimate protector is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. who is the ultimate protector. 2 Ezra 8:50. It says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that are in the latter time." All right? So again, they're setting the stage on every level. And you can't forget about these military troops that they have been ushering in under the shadow of night by these trains. Right? Hundreds and thousands of railway cars, filled with all types of military equipment. You can't forget about that. And these things are strategically stationed throughout this country because they're all waiting for that big major event. Whatever event it may be, that's what they're waiting for. All right? So clearly they got to put a few more pieces of their puzzle together before they launch that thing off. All right? So there's a lot of things happening right now. And again, getting back to the civil unrest or the race wars, if you will. Now, down in Texas, there was 2 Jake found hanging from trees, man. What do you think that's about to incite? Right? It's about to incite more racial tensions. And trust me, Esau is ready and up for the challenge. He is ready and up for the challenge because he knows Jake ain't about shit. He knows that. So if you dare to venture out there in that time period, talking about we gonna go get him, shit, better keep your asses still. Okay, continuing. It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. All right, so these miseries are coming, and they're not going to be slack. And there's not going to be anybody to turn these plagues away that the Lord has set up and is going to send here to Babylon the Great. No one's going to be able to turn this place back upright, make it great again, if you will. That's over. Now it's time for the demise. Now it's time for the destruction. It's time for the fervent heat to melt the elements. This is the time we're coming into. All right? And this is what we wait for. This is what we've been waiting for, man. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai for giving us the ability to speak your words and to be a part of your will. Okay? The Lord has given us, something that can't even be compared to in this planet or in this world. These rappers and all these, sports athletes, these, music entertainers, they've all made that deal, sold their soul to earn, some money that is about to collapse. What do you think is going to happen to all these people, man? The only thing that separates the average Jake from these superstars is the money. Okay? But when the dollar collapses, it's going to be another level playing field. Remember that movie, I Am Legend? And Will Smith was trying to get on the boat and they were scanning his wife. And that shit was coming up negative. She couldn't go. So you got to think about it. Everybody's gonna be the same, man. You're gonna have your Jay-Z's and Beyonce's trying to, go through a city or trying to get somewhere. When the military is posted up, roadblocks are everywhere. They ain't gonna give a damn about who you are and what status you have and how much money you had. They ain't gonna give a damn about that. When America truly suffers the fall and the decline, then you're going to see the horns. All right. So I just went into AI and tapped in about the collapsing of America, and it says, an American collapse would cause immense suffering for people in the United States and reverberate globally, destabilizing the world economy. All right. And why would it destabilize the world economy? Because if America collapsed, that means what? The reserve currency is collapsing. And its stock market, and the shareholders, all these things are going to collapse. And that's how a destabilization will occur when America fully, hits rock bottom. Now, the BRICS nations, they may put something in play before then, but even still, those nations who have not joined the BRICS nations, they're still under the banner of the American dollar being that reserve currency. But when it falls, what's going to happen? All these other countries are going to be destabilized. All right? And it says, triggering geopolitical conflict and creating widespread chaos. All right? But this is part of their design. This is part of their plan to break this down, to get, people, friends, fighting as enemies, to get the so-called white man to come up against the so-called black man. This is the chaos that they desire to have, or I should say they desire to put in place. Okay? It says the degree of suffering will depend on the nature of the collapse. Now, you're going to have a financial collapse. You're going to have a food collapse. You're going to have some type of medical collapse. All these things are going to fall. So it doesn't matter what type of collapse it is. They're all going to happen. It's all going to happen. It's all going to take a fall. Okay? Whether it be economically, militarily, politically, financially, food-wise, everything you can possibly think of is going to come to an end. And this is why you know and hear that song. It's the end of the world as we know it. Because you're not going to be able to get up and go out and shop and, do the regular routine things that you've been doing for years. All right? So I mentioned that Agenda 2030, which is, sustaining, life in such a manner where they're going to try to remove poverty, remove hunger, and return and restore, life back to the people. Well, we know that's not going to happen. And how do we know that? Because the prophecy says so. The prophecy says that this place is going to be destroyed and never be inhabited ever again. So when they're talking about peace and safety and prosperity for Babylon the Great, we know that's not going to happen over here. All right? Damn sure that's not going to happen. And finishing this off, it says, whether it be primarily economic, military, or political. So these are the things that will affect you, men and women, when a collapse is in effect. But the American people have been so mentally zombied out, if you will, that they truly believe that if something happens, it'll bounce back. They'll get back on track. Now, has that happened throughout the years? Of course it has. And it's always been that way. America would say the economy's going to collapse, but they'll always figure it out. There's enough money to go around. They'll start allocating funds to each department or what have you. And there's always been that peace of mind that the American politicians will always come and save the day for you. Well, rest assured, from the servants of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we have been telling you, the ultimate is about to take place. And when the ultimate takes place, there's nothing anybody can do. All right? Now, we of the hopeful elect, you ask a question, what we're going to do, what we're going to have, what's going to happen to us? Well, we abide under the shadow of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, when that time comes, he's going to guide our steps to where we need to be and provide us with the food that's going to sustain us to get us through the times. You see? So we ain't worried. And like I said earlier, in fact, we get excited when shit pops off. When the Lord gives us a little, a little snippet of something that's going to go down. We get excited over that, man. Because each waking morning, it draws us closer and closer to the end of Esau's kingdom. And us being put back in our kingdom, ruling with righteousness. When the people can rejoice. There's nobody rejoicing in the world right now. Because as it is written in the book of Ecclesiastes, we're in a time of war. There's nothing doing or nothing pleasant or nothing joyful during a time of war. Especially here in America. When Donald Trump was on his campaign, he said that, he's going to restore everything back to the people and give the people back their money and all this other nonsense. But as they always do the total opposite. Right? So that quick review of the AI overlook about the collapsing of America, as it says, it's going to be great chaos and great distress. Okay? So I love it when I hear these videos and watch these videos of these women and even men talking all kinds of shit. I love it. I love to see it. I love to hear it. Because again, when that time comes, when that time truly comes, there's not going to be any excuse to say, oh, I didn't know, I forgot. No one told us. 2 Ezra 15 and 18, it says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right? So again, if men are going to be afraid, what do you think you women are going to be? What kind of condition you women are going to be in? And that's why when you go back to Isaiah 4 and 1, the women say what? Let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. All right? Let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. That's what's going to be the going sentiment when all hell starts breaking loose around here. Okay? And the dream that the brother had the other day, and how he was, describing what he was seeing with the women, the Lord said he's going to put a spirit upon all flesh. So men are going to see dreams, have, different types of revelations coming to them. This is all of the Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Can't get around it. It's a beautiful thing when these things happen, because we were foretold. We were foretold that they were going to happen. All right? Let me end it off with Zechariah 14 and 2. It says, For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. All right? But the point I wanted to make in this verse is that there's always been talk about in the scriptures, the women being ravished or taken. All right? As the saying goes, and Esau knows this himself, to the victor go the spoil. You see? But it's about to be a lawless society out here. You know? And for those who think they're high and mighty, sitting on some type of damn pedestal, and for those men who put these women on that pedestal, and a lot of you men are the blame for this, man. And this is why a lot of these women look at you men as a bunch of punk asses. Always want to come running to the aid. Always want to try to lift them up and big them up and give them all kinds of props. Meanwhile, they're looking at you like you're some kind of herb. We ain't gonna fall for that shit. I don't give a goddamn how good you may look. We ain't falling. If your mind ain't right, your attitude ain't right, you are out of here. Don't even come this way. Get your mind right and get yourself together and understand what's going on around here before it's too late. All right? So Lord willing, I'm going to see you brothers in another one. I'm going to say shalom for now.